AEW is celebrating a milestone episode of Dynamite on April 16th that they are calling Spring Breakthrough. And they are also doing a live collision that Thursday called Spring Breakthrough because they absolutely do not want to run head-to-head with WrestleMania. So they're doing a live Thursday show instead. But Dynamite that week will be their 289th episode. And that will surpass WCW Monday Nitro's 288 episodes as the longest-running weekly primetime wrestling show in the history of Turner Sports. WCW Saturday Night did not air in primetime, so even though it aired for longer, I guess it doesn't count. And the show will emanate from the MGM Music Hall at Fenway in Boston, Massachusetts. What a missed opportunity, to do a spring break type episode like WCW used to do. I know Club La Vila isn't open anymore, but they totally should have done like an outdoor spring break episode somewhere. Of course, this kicked up a lot of angry tweets online from people who think this is just Tony Khan dunking on Eric Bischoff because Bischoff talks a lot of shit about him and his company, and he shouldn't be talking because Dynamite can't hold a candle to Nitro, blah, blah, blah. Yes, Nitro, even at its worst, was still pulling numbers bigger than what Dynamite does today. And actually bigger than anything Dynamite has done in 5 years on the air. And yes, Nitro also went head-to-head with Monday Night Raw and pulled those numbers up against Raw, even beat Raw for 83 straight weeks in the ratings. If you put Dynamite up against Raw or SmackDown right now, it would get slaughtered. It would fare about as well as TNA did when they tried the same thing in 2010, and that didn't last very long. Nitro changed the business. Dynamite did not change the business, but it did make the business better because it gave the fans a second promotion to follow on a major cable network, something that we didn't have since the TNA days on Spike TV. Dynamite did not revolutionize the wrestling business, though, in the way that WCW Monday Nitro did. And I don't think anybody is saying that it did, not even Tony Khan. All Tony Khan is doing is promoting his show, and he is using this milestone as an excuse to do that. Which is why I don't see anything wrong with him doing so. Like, I just laugh at all the people who are upset about this or who are, hurling comments and insults at Tony Khan for this. Like, I don't take it seriously because I see it for what it is. It is a promoter promoting his show. That's his job. And also, do you not think the fans online wouldn't be drawing attention to this anyway the closer we get? Like, you don't think the fans don't realize how close Dynamite is to passing Nitro's episode total? You don't think that they're not going to be talking about this, whether or not Turner and Tony Khan started promoting it? All he's doing is leaning into a conversation that the fans are going to be having online anyway. And it is an achievement that he should be proud of. As I said on TNT the other night, Eric Bischoff does not like Tony Khan. Ever since Tony made that comment about Ted Turner not knowing 1% of what he knows about pro wrestling, and if he did, WCW would still be on the air. I think it's a stupid thing for him to have said. Ted Turner didn't run WCW, he owned it, but it's not as if he was booking the matches and making the day-to-day decisions. Right? The biggest decision he ever made was to give Eric an hour of live television every Monday night. People forget, even Eric forgets when he tells the story that they gave him 2 hours. Nitro didn't go 2 hours until the night Scott Hall debuted in 1996. Before that, it was an hour long. And that was the biggest decision that Ted Turner ever made, right? I mean, that and signing off on bringing Hulk Hogan into the company. Bischoff was offended by that comment, and he has had a hate boner for Tony ever since. So if this is Tony Khan's way of somehow sticking it to Eric Bischoff, I mean, I wouldn't even waste my time with him, but I say good. Have at it. All I see is a promoter promoting the fact that his show is about to reach a new milestone, and I don't see anything wrong with him doing so. I think people need to find something else to be fake angry about. Now, per Entertainment Weekly, Saraya is leaving AEW. She announced, I say per Entertainment Weekly, she has since announced it herself, but they broke the story. She announced that she is parting ways with the company in the first episode of her new Rule Breakers with Saraya podcast. And as she explains it, I'm here to tell you that me and AEW's relationship has come to an end. I had an amazing time there. There's no bad blood between us. I had such a magical time. and she explains that she wanted to take a couple of months off around the holidays for personal reasons. And then I got to thinking, what is there left for me to do in wrestling right now? Right now, there's really no storylines where I would fit in. And she also clarifies that her departure has nothing to do with Tony Khan. It's just me thinking that I don't fit in right now. I feel like I might be taking someone else's spot, someone who could be doing something really special. That's not to say that I will never come back to AEW. I absolutely love it. But I'm taking a little step back and focusing on myself for a bit and putting my energy into the podcast with all of the crew here. And she later tweeted, "It's mutual, but I loved my time at AEW and I had such a blast with the girls there. It'll hold a special place in my heart. Tony was a great, Tony was a great boss. I assume she means. AEW was great. I feel so lucky to be a part of this family for a couple of years." Mike Johnson reports that her contract was set to expire in the fall. I'm surprised they never did the obvious program with her and Mercedes Moné. Even if it was just like one last program before Saraya leaves. She just disappeared from television and we never saw her again. Yeah, she came back to wrestling with a lot of fanfare in 2022 after wrestling her last match in WWE in 2017. They would not medically clear her to wrestle after that. AEW did. And she won the Women's World Championship at Wembley in her home country. After that, she didn't do a whole hell of a lot, right? There were the Outcasts with her and Toni Storm and Ruby Soho. Based on the name that she has and as popular as she used to be there, I could see WWE wanting to bring her back, although there's no guarantee their doctors would clear her. Just because she was cleared and wrestled somewhere else doesn't mean that they're going to clear her. I mean, they probably would, but we don't know that. It's one of the reasons why she left and went to AEW. But I don't see her as someone that WWE needs to go out of their way to sign. Their women's division is just fine with or without Saraya. I really don't see her making a huge impact one way or the other. Right now, it sounds like she wants to step away from wrestling altogether. It doesn't sound like she's just leaving AEW to go right to WWE. But I'm sure she'll end up back there at some point. I mean, I can almost guarantee it. Whether she's wrestling or doing something else, she will end up back in WWE at some point. Someone else who's in a contract year is former AEW Women's World Champion Mariah May. That is according to a report from Fightful Select. Per multiple staffers, wrestlers, and higher-ups, May's AEW contract is believed to expire later this summer. It is unknown if her current deal has any option years attached to it. However, one source within AEW said that they would be shocked if there weren't, as a deal as short as the one she signed is uncharacteristic considering the push that she received. She won last year's Owen Hart tournament, later defeating Toni Storm to capture the AEW Women's World title at All in London. Fightful notes that while May's contract is set to be up this summer, AEW is looking to retain her. Yeah, no shit. Word of May's pending contract status reportedly spread in AEW in recent weeks, specifically after she lost her title rematch against Toni Storm earlier this month at Revolution. Unlike Saraya, Mariah May is a must-have. Mariah May is someone that Tony Khan must re-sign at all costs because she is fantastic. And she's going to get paid, no matter where she lands, but I think she stays right where she is. And if so, then she will be joined by an old friend of hers very soon, because it was also announced this week that Mina Shirakawa, the lovely Mina, is leaving Stardom, where she called home since 2020, and leaving Japan to move to the United States and work for All Elite Wrestling. And she has already been a part of the AEW roster on and off for some time now. At a press conference on Wednesday, Shirakawa confirmed reports that her contract with Stardom expires at the end of the month. However, she will continue to wrestle for the promotion throughout much of April, concluding with Stardom American Dream 2025 in Las Vegas on April 17th and April 18th. Shirakawa announced that she will join AEW after leaving Stardom. Last we saw her on AEW television was the December 11th Winter is Coming episode of Dynamite, where she lost to, funny enough, Mariah May in her bid to become the AEW Women's World Champion. Mina is great. Mariah is great. and they should both be a part of that women's division for many years to come.